game. If you're a fan of blue, you'll probably be a fan of this game.
We can tell the guys that they can start getting ready to flip over the victory conditions. See what we have here. Looks like we have a double kill, also
Left
left breach,
breach.
and tactician are the three. So one kill condition, two control conditions.
Not sure who Rafa's outsider is. It might be the same one, but Pythoner or Joe brought the big OG outsider.
So we got the original outsider coming to the field, and Dark Vigilante looks like the other one for Rafa.
Yes.
Not for sure who actually did the coin toss there and who's deciding the factor. It was given to heads. So, by the way, just to give everyone a heads up, it looks like we got Pythoner as blue and Rafa is in red. So we'll be viewing from the blue perspective.
So it looked like Rafa grabbed that outsider. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Joe is first player, and the outsider is the big one. So move that out of the way. We don't need that.
So it looks
And
like,
so Joe's deck is it's the Suicide Squad version 2 that he and I have both played on stream before.
okay.
But if you're not familiar with it, it runs a lot of things like sacrifice and strength over pain to trigger revenge abilities off of Shillavi, and uh, oftentimes Frail will be the one to cast those things to revenge with piercing.
So with that, Joe making his first selection, picking up Astrida as his first hero onto the battlefield, putting Astrida on the left lane, which makes sense having the left breach as an option here.
Yes, it does. Also, lane 1 is on Joe's left side, so he does his left. That left breach would resolve first.
And looks like Rafa is picking Takali on the left, Joe's left lane, and Ravlar also over there. That's going to make it a little more difficult for Astrida to do her ability if Takali can get out in front, put a pillar there, and protect those two minions.
Now, one thing I would say is, while Joe and I do use the same list and practice together a lot, we don't always use it the same way. I've noticed recently that I think he tends to play a little bit more control-y than I do. So normally when I see double kill, I don't know if I would in necessarily this game, but I would tend toward using Golbjarn to go for a double kill with that. Also, he has charms in Brovar's deck, which going up against blue, he's probably going to want to bring Brovar. But starting with Astrida is going to make it difficult to run Golbjarn. So yeah, he's going to bring Ekrit out, which is going to mean he's planning on going for Tactician and Left Breach, the control objective.
So a little more controlly.
Yep. So Ekrit's deck has 3 copies of Call of Pact and 3 copies of Bewitch. So that's all the control cards.
Looks like this might be more of a control matchup because it looks like Rafa is also bringing Estrada and a Freyhill to the mix. He's
Yeah.
also putting it on
With
his left side, so he's going to be trying to have that left breach as well.
Yeah, and with Left Breach and Tactician as beat the control objectives and double kill being the only kill condition, it's not too surprising that this would be a control game. But yeah, there's the Brovar, which has the charms, so if he didn't bring that, that would have been a mistake.
Yeah, that was his last pick, correct, Rovar?
Yep. So Rafa brought Slakali, Frail, Brovar, and Astrida.
Yeah. Looks like his other two options, probably when there's more kill conditions out there, are Korjov and Shalavi. Those ones are going to be
Yep.
riding the bench.
A lot of damage on those with an assassin and a mage, and a lot of +2s and +3s in those decks. But this is we're not going to see that. So Frail has sacrifices and nourishes, and an exhaustion. Between the other heroes, he has 2 copies of charm, 1 more copy of exhaustion, 3 slides, 3 shoves, 3 presences. A lot of control cards.
Yeah, I think they're
Also,
modification wise and mana wise, they look like they're both pretty equal for the most part. I would say that Joe has a little bit slightly higher mana opportunities, where Rafa has a little bit more modifications in his deck.
right. So Rafa's list right here has an average modifier of 1.84, with 8 3-mana cards and 11 2-mana cards. I don't have Joe's pull up at the exact moment, but I know
Joe's is
from
a
playing that list, it's
2.19
around,
average.
yeah. Yep. I knew it was above 2. And it's at about, I think, around 12 or 13 on each of 2 and 3 mana.
Yep. So let's do some more predictions. What do you think we got here as predictions for the outcome? What's the win condition? What round do you think is going to happen?
I'm going to predict a round 4 tactician.
Round 4 tactician. Um, I do think it's also going to be a round 4 tactician, but I'm going to keep it a little bit different. Let's say round 4 left breach, and I'm going to say it's going to be Rafa because I think that Takali is going to add a little bit of difficulty for Joe with having the ability to put those pillars down and kind of push that lane. So his Takali is going to take a lot of damage. Hopefully, maybe prevent that for him. However, doesn't mean that Joe won't be able to counter that.
Yeah. One thing about Joe's deck is he does, unlike most, what I would assume most decks are with Frail, he actually has the heals in Shillavy's deck.
Hmm.
Because in these control mirrors, the heals usually aren't that relevant. But against a Tlakali, being able to use those heals to help finish her off if she's taking a lot of damage is potentially useful. So not having the heals there might make it a little bit harder to take out Tlakali if that is something he wants to do. But I think those 3 copies of Bewitch and 3 copies of Call the Pack are going to give him an advantage for the Tactician.
Yep.
Be interesting to see how Rafa is able to counter those plays with his slides and shoves.
Looks like our first activation here for Joe is activating Freyhail, doing a worship onto Astrida, moving into the dome, and leading from hand. Very.
I think Joe just misplayed right there. I think he either needed to go with Astrida first, so that way he can kill a minion before Tlakali can
Yep.
protect it, or he needed to leave an opening for Astrida to go to the other side, but he kind of blocked Astrida's path there, so Eckert would need to go first to do that.
I think I would have to agree with you on that as well, because now we have Rafa activating Takali, doing a move, putting her into that uh, our point of view, the left lane, worshipping next to those minions, and we'll probably do a lead, is my guess, leading off the
Yeah.
top of the deck, hoping he can hit that 2 to 3 mana card off the top of his deck.
The other thing that he did there by doing that was he also blocked, Frail blocked Ekret's ability to get the minions on the left side. There is the pillar there, so he probably wouldn't be able to kill them, but he could at least get some good damage on Slakali
Hmm.
if he wanted to do that.
Yeah, my guess is maybe the Ekrid will try to take out the right lane to uh, maybe make it a little bit harder for Rafa to progress that control point 2 forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think that's what's going to happen right here. Yep.
Yeah, we got to move, worship, putting down that pillar, and striking the 2 minions down with an attack.
And then if Astrida goes to spawn a minion, Astrida can go over to that side and kill the minion after it spawned.
And that is the activation for Ekrit. Moving over to Rafa. My guess is he might try to do the Streeta move, but he might put Frey Hill activation first to shapeshift Estrada.
I could also see Brilvar moving and skirmishing adjacent to Ekrit and Frail, and then worshipping there, or just moving into the dome, leading and worshipping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough for him to win the dome. He's going to have to put two people in. Granted, right now Joe does have the flux, so there is potential to see a turn one uh, presence. I think with seeing two of the heroes in the dome, I don't think he has a presence in hand, because that's a lot of resources dedicated to that dome right now. Because we have two heroes plus a lead into that dome.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a turn one presence here. We could maybe see like a turn one call the pack or bewitch or something. Could also see probably more likely like a turn two sinkhole.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brilvar here should just. I think you should go Brilvar here. Go Brilvar into the right lane and lead. Maybe worship on Frail first or after or something.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to activate Brolvar here.
I don't think it does anything for him to go into the dome with Brilvar at this point.
No. In this situation, I'd say maybe activating Estrada might be a little better. I don't know the deck as much. I think you want to kind of save that Brovar to try to get that taunt on.
Don't go to that hex. Oh, actually, that's fine. So the reason why I think he goes Brilva first is he wants if he lets Astrida go first, it could potentially spawn a minion in a place where Astrida could kill it and spawn one.
You're saying move Estrada to his right lane, Joe's
Like
right lane?
so, if Rafa were to go and kill a minion and spawn a minion, then
Mm-hmm.
Joe could use his Astrida to kill the minion that was just spawned, and then spawn one of his
Yeah,
own
sure.
to
The
undo his
only
Astrida.
tough thing there is I think he's got to do something about that left lane. Um, because that is one of his victory conditions. That Estrada is going to have to go to the left, I think. As tempting as it might be to try to go over to the right lane and spawn another minion and do some Estrada stuff, the fear is that Takali's going to be able to start pushing back on that left lane, moving it forward, which will kind of put Joe at a little bit of a disadvantage. Looks like we're getting
Yeah,
a through the eyes, or not through the eyes,
unfamiliar terrain
unfamiliar train, yeah. Played
from Brovar.
on Brovar, giving him fast. Means he's going to be able to get right there in that nice little pocket between Freyhill and Estrada. Or not Estrada, Eric. Or Ekra.
He could end up moving right up next to Astrida, but I don't think so.
No, he's got to go into that
Go
dome and
there,
contest it.
lead and worship.
Yeah, bleed and worship is what I expect as well.
I think
Or at what point do you just not even lead? Maybe do something else because are you going to win the dome? Is Estrada going into the dome? That's the question. If Estrada's going to go to the dome and you try to tie it, then that's an opportunity. If you're not, then maybe you don't lead.
I think he should do a lead from deck here.
Nope. I think he's giving up the dome. He's going to just do some attack and he's going to worship. I don't think he intends to push.
Actually, yeah, I think I like that actually because if Joe doesn't go into the dome, he can always do a lead with Astrida or something.
Yes.
But in terms of what you were saying before about Joe contesting the left lane, I don't think there's any reason for him to do that right now. I think he's probably realized that he's not going to win that lane this turn, so he's just going to try and win. I think he wants to be able to win two zones here, but I don't know how likely that is at this point.
I think it depends on the cards in hand for Estrida, if she has any tricks, right?
Yeah, if he has like a Bewitch or something, can move skirmish next to those minions, Bewitch and lead or something.
Yeah, I think if he has that, it might be some opportunity. The final thing, by the way, was Brovalar to worship there. So now next round, both Freyhill uh, and uh, Ekrit will be taunted by Brovlar's ability.
Um,
So,
unless we do, we could see a charm to get rid of that.
yep.
But assuming we don't see any way to get rid of it, then yes.
So we got to move, attack, flipping over Brovlar's ultimate, hitting that minion for
Oof,
3. This is an
that's
interesting decision for Rafa. Does he take the 3 damage? Yes, he does.
five
He's
damage.
like, sorry, 5
Five damage.
damage. He doesn't care about the damage because he knows this is probably more of a control. Turn 1, what is it?
Presence.
Presence. Turn 1 presence. Wow. So it's
I
gonna,
was gonna say I think he's gonna skirmish into the dome here,
and
but
then the
I guess
final play is probably
a
gonna be a
presence
lead.
is a good move. Yep. Because this is gonna force Estrida to choose where to go. Actually, Rafa's Estrida could move into that lane, kill a minion, and then go into the dome. Oh, but he didn't lead with Brovar. Never mind.
No, there's no that Estrida is gonna take out that minion on the right hand side, do
Yep,
her
yep.
ability, spawn another minion, get some nice push on
Hmm.
that right lane.
I was thinking Brovar had led, in which case he could use Estrida to win one of the lanes and then tie the dome. But
Hmm.
without the lead from Brovar, he can't do that.
So most likely, it looks like Joe's gonna win the left side. He will also win the dome, and my guess is Rafa's going to win the right lane.
Yeah. See, this is where I think Brovar should have led, because now if Brovar had led, Estrida could then, after killing and spawning a minion over there, could
Hmm.
then skirmish into the dome and tie the dome.
He's yeah, he won't be able to do it because he was out of the range of the minions. Like you said, if he did lead, he could tie it.
Right. But but without the lead he can't. So he's probably just gonna stay over there. He doesn't have a lead from Frail, so yeah, he's gonna lead.
Yeah. So, yeah, he
Now
has to lead because
Brovar
Brovlar led.
right, and Brovar did lead from deck. Or sorry, Estrida led from deck, Brovar led from hand.
There's the charm we're talking about, taking off the taunt from Brovlar. Nice call.
It's gonna come from Ekrit? Yeah, Ekrit.
Interesting that he
Oh
wanted to
no,
put it onto
Frail.
Freyhill.
But Frail already has a shapeshift.
Hmm.
I feel like Ekrit would make more sense here. It would heal. It would be able to heal Ekrit for 1+2.
Why would he be able to heal
One
Ekrit?
1+ also, not 1+ the
Oh,
number two.
because that hero is shapeshifted.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it would allow Ekrit's attacks to disarm, so he could potentially go first and disarm both Estrida and Frail.
Okay,
Not
so
that
we're
that does
resolving
a
lane
whole
one
lot.
right now. Looks like there was a sinkhole and a Takali ultimate on the left lane, allowing Joe to win by 1, killing one of the minions, moving the control point forward by 1, and then we'll respawn up some more minions here on the left side.
Yep. We'll see what happened in lane two.
Got to do
We don't know
that.
what that lead is on Estrida. It's a blind lead on Rafa's
Yeah.
Estrida.
So there is a chance that Joe could win the right lane. And the interesting thing there is all 3 of those minions are protected by Takali's um, pillar there, so that is going to be hard to take out those minions.
Ashrita led with her ultimate from the deck. Probably not the card Rafa wanted to see there, but he does win the lane from it.
No, moves that control point forward because of the win by 2, allowing Rafa to get a nice push over there. He's going to spawn 2 more minions. Looks like he moves the
Now,
control point into the bush.
Ashrita's ultimate, Song of the Siren, is one of the most powerful ultimates in the game, in my opinion, which is just exhaust target enemy hero. But Rafa is gonna have to get through his deck before he has any chance of getting that now.
Yeah, and with it being more leads, it might be a little bit more difficult to achieve that. A lot of the flip decks can get through their decks much faster because they're doing attacks and skirmishes to flip those cards over. Looks like,
And Freya led with her ultimate.
yeah, also led with an ultimate, winning that dome. A little bit,
Her
in
her
the end, it
ultimate
ended
is
up
a
not
little less
mattering.
powerful. Yes.
Yeah,
Freya's ultimate is a little less powerful, and especially in a matchup where there's not a whole lot of damage being done. So leading with that ultimate is a pretty good use of that ultimate, I think, in this matchup.
yep. So that
One thing
means
I will
that Joe
mention,
is
though,
going to
is
get the outsider.
you were talking about the flip decks being able to flip through the deck a lot faster. Joe's deck can do that with all the revenge triggers, but not in this matchup where there's no Shillavi, and it's a very controlling game. But so yeah, he does get the outsider here.
I don't think he place that outsider on top of that illusion.
Yes, he can.
Okay. They're gonna have to scale
He's
that bad
allowed to.
boy
Whether or
down.
not he's allowed to, whether or not he can is another issue.
Sure, sure. I don't know. Can he? I don't know if you can. You, yes, you can.
You
I
can.
guess you can always put minions onto tokens, but you cannot put tokens onto minis.
Correct.
There you go.
You know, trying to think if how I feel about the outsider on that side. If he puts it on the other side, he could kill a minion while it can't be protected by a pillar, or kill the pillar.
I think you kill the pillar, but but and then let Strider go first. I don't know. It might be tough.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. And he can have the outsider worship Astrida, so he can kill the pillar, worship
Yep.
Astrida,
And draw a card maybe.
and draw a card. He only has 3 cards.
My guess is he's going to. He can't see into those bushes, so that outsider over there is not going to be able to take out either one of those minions.
Yep.
So the only thing he's going to
Yep. So he's gonna hit
be,
that one.
be able to do is attack Brovlar or worship
I mean, he
Astride.
can attack that min. He can attack the minion he can
Oh,
see.
okay. Sorry, there was one extra for Rafa. Sorry, I was looking at the other
Right.
minions.
I still think I like the outsider on the other side though, doing the pillar worship draw.
Yeah, especially with being first player, I think there's opportunity there.
He can have the like either Brova or Frail take a worship action and use that worship action to shapeshift to Strida though.
Yes. So he still could achieve
Which
it,
is a
but
pretty
he
good
still
play.
got that pillar there.
Yeah, that pillar is a problem, and with him being the first player, getting rid of that pillar would have been a very strong play.
Hmm. So it looks like he did the attack with the outsider. Not for sure what his next action that he's thinking about doing. Is it? Do you just draw a card? I don't know. Maybe draw a card and worship. Looks like it probably. Is that a skirmish?
Shockwave, I think. I think that was a shockwave, gonna push the Strida
Okay.
back. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, doing
And then
shockwave
draw.
from the
I would
outsider.
draw a card here.
Pushing her 2 hex.
These control mirrors that cards. Did he not draw?
I think he did. I heard the sound, but I didn't see it.
But he only has 3 cards in hand. I thought he had 4. He had 3 cards before.
Yeah, I'm not for sure what the last one was then.
None of his heroes got shapeshifted. Eckhart's illusion didn't move at all.
So we are on to round 2. So we'll move that round marker up to number 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the outsider did there, but anyway. Well, one thing Frail could do if he has a Joe's Frail, if he does have a Bewitch or a Call to Pack in hand, he could kill the pillar and then use either a Call to Pack or a Bewitch to put a minion on top of where that pillar is,
Mm-hmm.
and
Making
that
it
would
much more
allow
difficult. But he's
that
still
would
got a
make
couple
it so
other
Tlakali can't.
places.
Right, but I don't think Tlakali would be able to protect both
No.
minions if.
Well, not all 3.
In,
He'd be able to
oh
protect 2,
well, I
but
mean
not
if
all 3.
he right. I mean I guess it's also depending on whether it was like a Bewitch or a Call to Pack or whatever. But he could, I guess, Rafa would have the option to move Tlakali and place a pillar where she is,
Mm-hmm.
depending on whether it was a Bewitch or Call to Pack and what minion was killed with the Bewitch if it was a Bewitch.
So at the end of
One
round 1, it looks like, just to refresh again, we have 2 uh, points on the Tactician for Joe, and we have 1 point for Rafa.
and both of them won their left breach. I'm gonna assume that Joe decided to put the outsider on that side because he's more concerned about losing to left breach than about winning with left breach.
Yeah. I think right now Joe's route is maybe just to ensure he keeps constant pressure on, staying ahead in the victory conditions, and try to go for that tactician. Not so much
Right,
as
exactly.
winning it and destroying that tower. I think Rafa is going to be looking at trying to take out his left breach, which is our right. Um, I think those are the routes the 2 players are going for right now.
I think this might be where we're going to see a Bewitch or a Call to Pack. Frail moving over into that lane. Probably going to hit Sakali with the skirmish, I would assume.
Yep. So
One other card that we haven't seen from Frail yet, but could become relevant here. She does have Strength over Pain in the deck, which she can use to give herself Frenzy and potentially kill 2 minions, or in this case, a pillar and a minion.
yeah, so he is killing that. Yep, there's that Bewitch. He's going to do exactly
Yep.
what you said. I think is spawn that
Yep.
minion right in that little pocket, making it much more difficult for Takali to protect all of those minions. This will then allow Astrida to go next or later on and do her thing.
Yeah, I
So,
do
do
think.
we know if Rafa is running any stone barricades?
I don't believe he is.
If he is, he might be able to place a stone barricade adjacent and then cast a pillar into that other little pocket, protecting both those minions. Let me see if stone barricade is
So
being played.
I'm looking at that right now. I don't believe so. I don't see any stone barricades in here. Yeah,
Yeah.
no stone barricade. One thing. Yep. So that was what I was talking about before. Tlakali can move away and place a pillar where she was.
Okay.
So I think if he had left Frail in this hex where Tlakali now is, he could have bewitched the minion on the control token, and
Mm-hmm.
that would have prevented. I guess then Tlakali could have killed the minion, and then placed a pillar in that spot. But
Uh,
he made Tlakali use several actions to protect the minions.
well, Takali could move anywhere to open up that other spot, right?
Right.
Takali could go
Yep.
back into the bush. Takali could.
Yep. And that hex where Frail is does play around Clyde.
Yeah.
So I think that was correct. I don't think there was any way he could have protected. He could have prevented a pillar from protecting the minions, because Tlakali could always just kill the minion and then put the pillar in that hex.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to make a he made Rafa work for it.
It's always a good thing when you try to make your opponent work a little bit harder.
Exactly. Now I think it might have made. Okay, I see what's going on. So Tlakali could have killed the minion, placed the pillar instead of moving, and there would be one less minion. I think Tlakali wanted to be in that hex because she probably has a shove. That'd be my guess, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ekrid is going now. It's skirmishes and then is worshipping. Not sure what the reason is for placing the illusion there. Is he expecting to win the lane, and so he wants to have it positioned better for next round?
Yeah. Preemptive? Does he maybe have her ultimate in hand?
I would not be surprised. I think if he was gonna make that play, I would have activated Ekrit later
Mm-hmm.
because then he would have a better idea of where that control token is gonna end up. But I guess there's also the case to be made that he wanted to activate Ekrit before Brilvar had a chance to uh, taunt again.
Yeah, I could see that too. That way, get some value out of it. Looks like Ekrit also, like I said, skirmish, worship, lead, wants to keep that pressure on in the dome for another victory point on that tactician. So I don't think he was planning on taking Ekrit out of the dome, and like you said, it kind of moves away. Might even be a little bit of a temptation to move Bravlar next to Ekrit to get him to taunt, preventing Bravlar from maybe worshipping a Strider or something like that. Looks like we got Freyhill's going to be activated by Rafa, moving up within range of the control point. Rafa doesn't have to worry about the flux anymore since it was used turn 1 to play that presence on the left lane for Joe.
Yep. And then my guess is Brovar is going to try and hold down the right lane by himself.
Yeah.
Depending on which hex Frail goes into, yeah, that's not a hex you're allowed to go into.
So,
Okay, yeah.
move
I was going to say, if Frail
skirmish.
didn't go into that hex right there, Brovar could have had a strength over pain and could have killed both minions. I would not be. I would say it's probably fairly likely that Joe has a either a presence or a call to pact that he can use with Brovar.
Mm-hmm. So move skirmish attack. No leads from Freyhill. So that means the Strider's probably going to come in there, move attack, and lead is my guess. So
Yeah, that
attack
makes
on one of
sense.
those minions.
And by being in the hex where Frail is, it gives line of sight to the other hex as well, which will allow Ashrita to be able to kill that other minion without having to move up right next to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely think that's what the skirmish was for, giving that extra sight line for Estrada.
Correct.
So we have Estrada and Brovlar on both sides left to activate. Everyone wanted to wait.
Yeah.
Brovlar, you typically wanted to see where all the heroes move so that he can do his taunt. And Estrada trying to wait a little bit out to get max value out of those minions.
Yeah, Brovar can taunt, or Joe's Brovar can taunt Rafa's Ashrita. Actually, they can both taunt the other one, but Rafa's Provar taunting Joe's Ashrita doesn't do quite as much with the pillar already over there. But Joe could taunt Rafa's, but that would also force Brovar to be out of line of the control token, so I don't think he wants to do that.
Yeah. Because he
Probably
could
just
still get
gonna,
into range and skirmish and lead. It
yeah,
might prevent
get
that
skirmish,
attack.
attack, and lead.
Yeah.
Skirmish, attack, lead, or maybe with a presence or
Well,
a call to
attack.
pack
Yeah,
in there.
attack, skirmish, lead. If taunted.
Yeah, I would get feeling. Yeah.
So looks like Joe is going to activate that Bravlar there. My guess is, yep, the presence there it
Presence.
comes. playing that on Bravlar, so he's a additional point value there. Only got one minion. This is going to let him see what he has on his top of his deck.
Yep.
So
He
he's
does have
probably got to
all
at
three of
least
his
lead,
chasms.
right? He's got
He has
presence
all
plus
three of
lead.
his chasms in his discard, so there's not as many threes as in the deck left as he would probably like. And we saw the Sinkhole and the Glacial Rebirth last round as well.
So do you keep both those back on the top? Is that what it was?
He did, yep.
Yeah, so we're going to move, lead. Oh, he is going to attack. Okay. Move, attack, and lead is my guess. Yep. So killing one of
One
those
of the
minions.
left the Strength Overpay on top for the minion kill.
Interesting. Didn't need that, so.
Yeah, I think he probably has a lot of ultimates left in the deck or something, and he didn't want to lead and then end up flipping one of those on the attack.
So now it goes back over to Rafa. He's got his Brovlar and a Strida left. I mean, do you have to contend the dome with Brovlar, don't you? You're just gonna lose the point, the victory points
Yeah,
on Tactician.
I think Brovar is gonna just needs to go taunt Ekrid and lead.
Yeah, maybe do another attack on her to get something else. I could, yeah, it's got to. So activating a Strata, moving a Strata forward.
Frail. One thing is Frail didn't lead, so Astrida can't worship and lead.
I thought was she not worshipped?
She is not worshipped.
The lead is going to be more valuable than the worship, so he's much better off attacking and leading.
Right. Exactly. So he's gonna, but he means he isn't gonna get to spawn that minion. But he will still have a 1 minion advantage and a 1 hero advantage, which does make up a little more than the present. So he should still be able to win that lane by 1.
Yeah, it would be by 1. Also giving him another damage, or giving him a damage to the tower, letting him draw a card if that goes through. So there goes that last minion, last one of Joe's minions, killing it. And then the final one, hopefully he has a 3 in hand that he can lead. If it is a 2, it's a tie, and he would not get a victory point for that lane, because we're assuming that the Bravlar does have a 3 mana card in front of him because of that presence. And if it is only a 1 mana card, that means he actually loses that, and there's potential for Joe to win all 3 of the positions depending on what Bravlar does with his lead in the dome.
Right. Now, I think Joe should try and move his Astrida up into that cover hex next to the pillar. It gets him into a better position for next round if he wins that lane. And it also protects her from a shove or a slide.
Mm-hmm.
Could also go on top of the pillar. That also works.
Yeah. So Estrada is not worshipped at this time. So.
Oh, he doesn't have a leaf from Frail either, so that would be put him in the same position. But I don't think he needs to worship with the pillar there.
Moving out onto
Because
the pillar there.
yep.
So we've got to move. Most likely an
I'm
attack
just gonna
and
go do
lead.
something here to make it easier to see that pillar. Just for the stream, so we can see that there's a pillar there.
Yeah. So move, attack. So that's putting the red minions down to 1.
No, Tlakali is gonna take the damage.
Oh yeah, with the pillar.
Or
That
lose the
makes
HP
sense.
rather. Which is why there's no reason for Astrida to worship.
Correct. It's a waste of activation. Once again, that lead is going to be way more important. Once again, he wants
Exactly.
to have another 3. If this goes through, I think that would make it where blue wins, dealing 2 damage to the tower, letting him draw a card. and get another victory point for Tactician. Leading from hand with a 3.
And a Bewitch.
Oh, nice. So that will defeat that
Now the
minion.
question is, does Brovar need to go into that lane now?
Oh, yeah. So now we spawn another minion, so that puts us to 6 minions. If Brovlar does not go in there and do anything, that is a victory via left breach for Joe.
Yeah, because he gets to spawn him in. Did he spawn the minion anywhere?
He did. He spawned into the bush.
Oh, there it is. It just didn't show up for me that quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it now.
This is
So it's
very
3,
interesting.
6, 7, 8 to 2. They each have a lead. So he's up by 6. The minion would eat 1. So Brovar does need to go over there.
Yes, he
Which
does
means
have to
that
respond to this.
Joe is going to win the dome
Yes.
unless he wins through
Which means that'll give him 2 more victories, while Rafa's only going to get that 1 for the right lane win. I assume Rafa's got to see this and do the numbers and do the math to know that he has to go over there and respond to it. If looking at it, he only has a Takali in
I
that
don't think
lane. So
Slakali can do anything with those reactions to
yeah, I don't think
prevent
Takali
this.
has any reactions that's going to take out a minion.
I'm looking through the cards right now. Or there's also can't move Ashrita or Frail out of range either.
So move.
Yep, there's nothing.
The only nice thing is both Joe's Freyhill and Estrada are at 0 mana right now. So that will prevent maybe from any shenanigans happening from Joe.
Yep. So that was a skirmish that's gonna get 1 through the armor on Ashrita after flipping a unfamiliar terrain as a +2.
So last action, probably a lead either from the deck. He only has 1 card left. I think he's going to lead from the deck. He's got to really,
Yeah.
really.
No, he has 5 cards in hand. That's Joe who only has 1 card in hand.
Oh, yep, you're right. I read the HUD wrong. Flipping over an ultimate there, killing that minion.
Yeah, that was Frail's ultimate glacial rebirth. That was flipped. And yeah, he attacked the minion. He does have a lead on Slakali already, so he didn't need to do a lead.
Oh, okay. Forgot about that. I was looking at the HUD wrong. So that means that there would be 3 damage onto this tower here, assuming that the leads are both 3 from both of the players.
They were both from hand, so I would assume they are both 3s.
Looks like we've got a heal coming in.
Slakali's just going to heal for 3 with the Nourish. So I think both players are going to get tower damage. So they'll both get a card from that.
Correct. But once again, Joe is winning 2 victory conditions for Tactician, where Rafa is only winning the 1.
And Joe wins the dome, which means he's going to get to activate that outsider.
Yeah, my guess is
The
that
one
outsider is going
thing
to
that
go over to the left side and put a lot more pressure on the left.
Yep, and you can put it right around, right by Rafa's nexus too, to make it harder for Ashrita to get over there. One huge advantage that Rafa does have right now is he has a lot more cards in hand. He didn't play. The only card he played this round was the Nourish, so he could have a lot of 3 mana cards in hand.
Oh, and also it looks like Joe only had a 2 lead on his.
Oh,
So
that is true. So I guess he only did 2 tower
he only
damage,
did
not
2
3.
tower damage.
He
Which means that
didn't draw
Broflar
the
actually
card.
did not have to go in there to contest that. However, I think
He
it was
did
the
tower
better choice to
damage.
do it not knowing what's underneath that card. Those bewitches that he played are definitely making the difference. He was able that round to play 2 bewitches, almost effectively shutting off the power of Takali off, because he can bypass it, making it where Rafa's got to put that extra effort in, moving the pillar around, getting into those positions, and then the bewitches just go right around that and make it so that those moves didn't even matter. So over to lane 2, resolving it. assuming they both had 3s, which they did. That means there's going to be 1 damage to the tower,
Yep.
and
And
you'll be
Rafa
able
gets
to
a
move
card.
that the control point forward 1 as well. Rafa's also up against the wall because uh, the left lane will resolve before the right lane, giving a slight advantage to Joe on doing that left breach.
Yeah. And then Joe is gonna win the dome here, and it's gonna get to use the outsider to make certain things more difficult.
Yeah, he led with a 2. I assume
Okay,
that
so I
I think
think
that outsider's going to go right next to Takali.
I agree. I think it's gonna go right there. It should kill the pillar, and then Egret can move over into that lane and blow up both of the minions. Unless he only wants to blow up one of them and go with the Shrita first to get to he could spawn
I
one.
think
That
the
might make
straight to
more sense.
play would be better. Like I said, get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
minion spawn before the pillar can get in there. I mean, you're never going to replace a pillar to save both of them because of the setup, unless you kill a minion then place a pillar.
I could see the outsider going right on top of the two front Nexus hexes as well.
I think he wants to push Takali back with Shockwave.
That's fair. What about the left Nexus hex and the cover hex there?
Yeah, that's an option. I mean, he still can reach Takali there. Um, it might make it a little bit harder for people to move around up there. Like you said, Astrida coming into that little pocket. Um,
Yeah, it looks like he's going where you were saying.
uh, the thing that this does, I mean, Ekra can still shoot off her, you know, special ability um, through the
So
outsider. So it's not like the outsider's blocking line of sight. I think it just makes it where it's harder for him to move around if he blocks off his Ekrat like this. However, it also blocks off Takali, but Takali's not going to come into that dome.
so the problem with what you were saying though is because of the way it's positioned, the only direction he can push with the shockwave is to the left. He can't actually push it back towards his own tower. Like it's not actually really getting much further
Yeah,
away
but
from the
you
control
can you can
position.
push her away from the control point, so she at least has to move into range of the control point.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah, so
I think both are perfectly valid. I don't think there's a wrong decision between those two.
yeah,
So he should kill the pillar, push Tlakali, and draw a card.
worship Estrada. So killing the pillar. Oh, seeing Ekrit's ultimate come out there, killing the pillar. I think Shockwave to push Takali back and worship Estrada. He's first player. You activate Estrada if you want to kind of get that done and over with.
So on Rafa's side, the only ultimate we have not seen yet is Brilvar's. On Joe's side, the only let's see, we're looking at ultimates here. The only one we haven't seen is Estrida's.
So he did do the push. Do we know what the final one was? Did he draw a card or something?
I don't know. I think I'm getting disconnected.
Yep.
Yep, I just got disconnected.
See you later, Credo.
Bye guys, I'm out.
Connection. Connection issues. Yeah, I wasn't for sure what the last call there was
um,
for the outsider.
I
My
think
guess is a
I
card
think
draw.
the draw was the first thing he did. He
Okay.
had one card in hand before drawing for the tower. I think he
Okay,
got
yeah.
up to
And now
three
he's up to
before I
5.
left.
So,
Okay, so he drew, he attacked the pillar. Did he shockwave or worship?
he shockwaved.
Okay.
So, we got
I'm
Estrada
trying to get
activating
back.
for Joe as the first player. Um, expect to see probably worship, attack, and lead. Ooh, Song of the Siren being played by Joe. Ultimate coming out, deactivating Takali. So that means Takali is no longer going to be able to spawn anything. That means Takali is not going to add value to that lane because of the shockwave. This makes it very difficult for Rafa to be able to react to this and come over and kind of prevent these things from happening.
Yeah, and based on that position, I don't know. I guess Tlakali could use like a sinkhole here to move herself away from Astrida. Or
Yeah,
actually, Brilvar could use a sinkhole to pull both himself and Astrida away.
yep.
I think that was the issue with the
There's the
shockwave.
sinkhole. Sinkhole being played on Takali. It's going to knock both Freyhill and Takali probably back away, just out of range of that Song of the Siren.
Yeah, I think Tlakali's I think if he had that in hand, I think he might have just drawn it, but so maybe he didn't know he was going to get it. But if he had it in hand, I think the shockwave was wrong because it makes it by pushing Tlakali away, it makes it easier for Tlakali to avoid the Song of the Siren.
Um, yeah,
Oh, Frail from a sinkhole from Frail that was gonna.
hold them both into that area. The double sinkhole on turn 3. By the way, we're on turn 3, so if we can move that round tracker up.
Yes. Also, I don't think it's a problem for everyone else, but because I reconnected, the HUD is messed up, so I'm just gonna go click on all the heroes to fix the HUD for me.
Yep. This wonderful HUD brought to you by Tapeworm. Done
Please
great things
donate.
for the community, making it easier for streamers to watch and see what's going on with cards being played, mana's being used.
He's done such an amazing job on this, and you helped with a little bit of it, right?
Yeah, I did. The stuff I did was early on. I helped with some of the action bar coding, trying to make it where people could play without, voice and their ability. If there's a language barrier, it makes it a little bit easier. And then kind of the original HUD with the icons is where I started. I kind of had a template laid out, and I started to collaborate a little bit with Tapeworm on the HUD design. But he's taken it to a whole new level with the activation and mana and conditions and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's done the bulk of the work, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
let's give you credit too. You helped.
Not as much.
Psychic.
I talked him into being able to be like, hey, you should do more work than what you've already done on the mod, right?
Hey, that's very important. That's a very important job, and I'm glad you did that.
So we have the double sinkhole. It looks like both those characters are going to stay in the same position. This actually um, allowed for some movement of characters. Takali will at least contribute one control point by doing that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, he pulled. He ended up instead of moving Tlakali away from Astrida, moving Tlakali towards Astrida because it got her in range of the control token. So now
So
she doesn't need to move.
at that point, should Joe put the sinkhole further back? No, I guess not. He had to keep it
No,
forward so he
because
doesn't go out of
he
range.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to give Tlakali the option
Yep.
to
So
go into the cover
so
hex.
Estrida worshiping right now. She should also
Worship
be
and
able
then
to
attack.
heal because of that worship. I don't know if she
Uh,
did already.
I
Attacking,
don't think
spawning
she
another
did.
minion,
I don't
and
think she
she's
did.
probably
She was
gonna.
only one below max. It's possible that he either forgot about it or didn't bother with it because maybe he doesn't want to flip through more cards.
Yeah. And leading from deck. Interesting.
He only has 3 cards in hand, so maybe he
It makes sense.
doesn't want to use those or doesn't have any threes left.
Yeah. Currently, right
Let's go see.
now, if nothing changes, assuming one of the actually both players play a 3, that will put us at 6 damage onto the tower, which is well enough to destroy that tower. So Rafa definitely has his work cut out for him to try to prevent this situation on the left side. Now the question is, does Rafa have any AoE type spells to take out multiple minions? I don't know if he does in his deck.
So yes, the ice ones. So Joe, looking at his discard, I believe he has 2 3-mana cards left. One is Nature Reclaims and one is an Ice Wall. So if he doesn't have any threes in hand, there was a 2 in 5 chance of that being a 3.
Okay. So going over to Rafa, he's activating Freyhill, going to do an attack, killing the one minion.
See, the problem with Rafa's real difficulty here is, like, if he does have like an unfamiliar terrain or something, he can bring a Ashrita over to the other side and potentially stop the breach. But by doing that, I he loses presence in both the dome and
Yep.
the right lane, which means Joe can just win those two.
Yeah, attack, lead, worship is what Freyhill ended up doing. I definitely agree. Joe is sitting pretty comfortable right now, knowing that he can win the left by actually taking the breach down, or win the left and winning the dome. Um,
Yeah. Or if Rafa is able to defend the left, he can just win the right and the dome.
mhm.
He just needs to win any 2 lanes here, so he doesn't even need to push for the left breach. He can basically leave that lane alone. I mean, he already went with the Ashrita there, but he can leave that alone and force Rafa to deal with all those minions, and he can just focus on the other two. So that was a worship on Ashrita, or a worship to
Yep.
shapeshift Ashrita rather.
So is this a situation where does Astrida actually have to go into the dome, attack, and then move into the dome? I'm
Um.
saying for Rafa.
Yeah. I possibly, if he does have an unfamiliar terrain, he could try and go all the way across. But I don't know if I think he needs to hope that Frail can at least tie that lane by herself,
Hmm.
and then he could try and do what you said. Kill and spawn a minion, and then move into the dome and lead. I think that's the line right there, like you were saying. Keep in mind, Rafa does have 5 cards in hand. Could see some. We already saw one sinkhole there. You could have some more sinkholes and chasms, slides, shoves,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things to mess with Joe.
Looks like we're seeing a Gathering Storm played by Joe, allowing for him to pull up 2 more cards. Looks like he's also going to activate Bravlar here.
I'm going to assume that he does not have Nature Reclaims in hand, because that probably would have been the play over a Gathering Storm if he did.
Hmm.
Unless he has a Strength over Pain and wants to have the mana up for a Strength over Pain to kill 2 minions.
Killing the first minion.
Or if maybe he wants a Charm for a Shrita, if he has that. There is one Charm we have not seen yet.
Leading. Is he going to leads from deck? So most likely we can assume that's a 3 there.
That was from hand.
Sorry, I meant from hand. I meant from hand, but
Yeah.
that's why it's a 3. So we
Yeah.
can assume that's a 3. He's got one more action here. My guess is a worship.
Notably, on the attack on the minion there with Brovar,
Hmm.
um, he flipped the ice wall, so he only had 1/3 left, which is Nature Reclaims. So I'm going to, if that is a 3, that means that's the Nature Reclaims right there, and that means that Ashrita did not lead with a 3.
You think he's got a?
Or I counted wrong.
You think he? You think he's got a charm or something?
I think it's very possible that he has a charm there. He wants to use it on Astrida when she goes to kill a minion.
Yeah. Interesting
Or
thing
he
is, like,
decided he wanted to
is
use
the play
the.
actually better to just to taunt and have us try to attack Brovlar and just move, worship, lead, and just make sure you don't lose that lane horribly, and make it so he has to stay over there, making it much harder for him to protect
So
both the dome.
if he has the charm, I think killing the minion, uh, attacking and leading.
Hmm.
So actually, oh, I see. Yeah, I think with that skirmish, I would have moved. I see what you're saying. He could move one hex over next to Astrida, and then when in response to Astrida activating, he could charm the shapeshift off.
Yeah, because I think you want to make it where Astrida can't come over the lane, can't go in the dome, and she's stuck in that lane, or making it much more
Yeah.
difficult to do things. So we're activating Astrida. We'll
Joe
see
Joe
what Astrida is going to
does
be able to do here.
Joe does have one charm left, so it's either one of the three cards in his hand or the lead on Astrida.
Hmm. So Rafa activating Astrida, worshipped. We'll see what this first action is. Freyhelp plays shove, trying to get him more in range so he can go over to the other side. He knows that he has to befriend that left breach over there. Any little movements to try to pull Astrida in that direction would be good. So in that case, if there was the taunt, Astrida would have still been able to move away.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has the charm. He's thinking about it. Yep, there it is. Oh no, no, he changed his mind.
Interesting. Nope, he's
Oh, there
playing
it
it.
is. Yep.
So this is going to make it a little bit more difficult, but if she does have a unfamiliar terrain to be able to get over
Let's
there
see
with
how many.
fast.
He has flipped a good number of those. Let's see how many he has.
Uh,
There
did
are two
did
in his discard right
Brovlar
now.
put that charm onto him? The shapeshift?
Yes. Oh no, he did not take it. He just removed it. Probably playing around a charm from Astrida.
Interesting. Better to
There
just
was
get
there
rid
was
of
no
it.
fast there.
Just to move,
Yeah, I think that
skirmish,
makes
and
sense.
attack.
He doesn't want Astrida to take it back with the charm.
So he attacked Estrada?
I think that was a skirmish. The just hitting Astrida with the
Oh,
skirmish.
okay. Plays presence. So that does give Estrada a +1.
Now, yeah, because that's the other thing. I think Joe is planning on ending the game this round. So
Sure.
Brovar had already activated and Frail had already activated. So taking the shapeshift doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So just getting it off there, which prevents, just plays around charm from Astrida taking it back. So I think that was correct.
Yeah. Assuming nothing happens in that right lane, lane 2, red will win it, but deal 0 damage to the tower if we assume that both of those heroes have leads of 3 in front of them. So,
Freyhel's lead was from deck.
okay. And the other
That
Bravlars.
being that
So,
being said, if that lead is a 2, it'll still be a tie over there, which means Rafa doesn't lose.
yeah, I think Joe can lose the right lane. That's not an issue. He's gonna go for left breach and go for dome. Um, is what he has to do. I think. The right tower still has 4 damage on it, so it's not like it's going to go anywhere.
What about if Ekrit moves into the cover hex next to Astrida, worships to move the illusion across to the other side and pushes Astrida out?
Yeah. Was there a lead with that, Rafa? Yeah, there's a lead there.
Yeah, it was a presence and or yeah, a presence and a lead.
No, he's got to stay in the dome. He's got to contend the dome there. It's his other victory condition.
But Frail can move into the dome, so Ekrit can move into the lane and push Astrida out, and then Frail can move into the dome.
Sure, sure. I think he wants to win the dome. So I think right now it's going to be very, very difficult for Rafa to win that left lane. I mean, right now we're looking at 8 minions for Joe versus the 1 minion left. Because what could happen
Okay,
is Bravlar could go into the dome and tie it, right?
so
It's
he's
still
not doing
a
either.
a hard match for.
Right, but then if Brilvar goes into the dome, then Frail can just stay in the lane, and then he can push to the left breach.
Um, yeah,
I
it's I think this is Joe's game. I think he just has to make sure he plays more defensively and doesn't try to put too many eggs in one basket. You know, his move by moving Ekrit further away, making it so he can't get sinkholed by Bravlar or something like that. Definitely a good play. Um,
yeah
kind of
yeah I
protecting
don't
him, playing a little more
yep.
defensive.
And then getting a lead there, just making sure because at this point Joe knows exactly what card that lead is on Astrida, so my
Hmm.
guess is he probably wanted to reinforce that lead, saying this lead isn't good enough. So
Sure.
just gonna it was probably like a 1 or something, or even if it was a 2, he could be like, I want to make it a 3. But Frail, I mean, maybe he is going to put Frail in there and just push the left lane and just not go to win the dome.
I I I think you go in the dome. It depends on where Brovlar moves.
Yeah, Frail probably just goes to wherever Brovar doesn't. Brovar has to,
Correct.
if Brovar doesn't go into the dome, he just can move into the dome and win.
Yep. So Brovlar attacking a minion.
I don't believe we have seen Avalanche yet, so he does have an Avalanche potentially, but by moving Ekrit where he did, it doesn't give Brovar any place to push Astrida. He could use Avalanche or a Sinkhole or Chasm or something to push Astrida into the dome at the end of the round if Frail moves in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's happening right now. So we got an attack. Is Rafa just thinking?
It's probably doing math.
Yeah. I mean, the current math I have is blue will win with dealing 4 damage to that tower. If everything stays the same, assuming
4,
both
6,
players play a
7,
3.
8, 9. That should be 12 for blue, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 for red. So yeah, it would be
Um,
12 to 8 with the 1 minion, right? Did you forget about there's the presence too?
there's a who has presence?
Astrida has a presence.
Okay, so then I did forget.
Rafa's Astrida has a presence rather.
Yeah, I did forget about that.
So a lead
So
from
3 damage
hand
still.
with
That's
Brovar.
gone tower.
Yeah, that'll be because he'll win by 4, but then it would kill the minion in 3. So he'd still be fine as of now.
So he's leading right now.
But Frail can move in there, kill a minion, and then change that.
Well, I think she moves forward 1 hex, kills the minion, and then moves into the dome. Or just safely go into the dome. Like, the interesting thing is if a sinkhole gets played here by Bravlar. preventing Freyhill from going into the dome, but
Right,
still...
but then Frail can just move back into the hex where she is right now, and then he wins through the left breach, I think.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think he wins both. He's going to move there. He's going to skirmish there. He's going to attack, move into the dome. That's what he wants to do.
That would make most sense. And then even if he has like a sinkhole or something like from Brilvar and move Brilvar into the dome to like tie the dome, he's going to lose the lane.
So
he
there's
can't
the
defend them
attack,
both.
taking out that last minion on the left side.
Yeah, I don't think. Yep, and then he moves in.
And I think that tower is 5 damage.
I don't think any skirmish or sinkhole. Okay, yeah.
Yep. I think they're calling it right there.
They gave it.
Got a presence.
There's a sinkhole.
Strider had the presence as well.
And they both led with a presence from deck and a sinkhole from hand.
That's funny. Yeah, so that's tower's gone. I think Rafa called it there. So that looks like it is 2, 4, 6, a win for Joe, Pythoner6.
Left breach turn 3?
Yep, it was turn 3 tactician for Joe.
Left breach.
Sorry, left breach. You are right. Left breach.
It would have been tactician, if they finish resolving, because he would have got the dome too. So it was going to be tactician after left breach, but left breach does happen first.
Yep. So let's probably move over there into the other chat, and we'll talk to them there.
Right off your deck.
Hey guys.
Hey there.
Hey, great match, guys.
Hello.
Congratulations there,
Thank you very
Joe.
much.
Winning on turn 3 with a left breach.
Yep.
Any thoughts of how the game went, guys?
Yeah, I have to say I felt like I got all the draws I needed from early on, having presence turn 1, turn 2 I had all of the witches that I needed, and then turn 3 with Song of the Siren, Sinkhole, the Charm, everything just lined up so well in terms of the cards that I ended up having, that I think really helped out.
Yeah, I mean, probably my favorite plays of the match was the double Sinkhole with Takali and the Song of the Siren. Let's spend nine mana to get a playoff.
Yeah.
I think I technically played the Sinkhole a little wrong, because if I had let his Sinkhole resolve, I think I would have been able to then cast my Sinkhole and move Takali back to where she was, which would still have been out of range of the token. Obviously, in the end, it didn't really matter. I ended up having more than enough minions anyway, but that would be... I almost did it that way, and for some reason, I think I just overthought it.
And definitely, I thought, Rafa, you did a great job noticing that you had to bring that Bravlar out of the dome to contest that left lane, or there was a potential of left breach in the end of round 2.
Yep. I was actually expecting to see the Suicide Squad playing, and I had some tricks for that. But then we had all the control.
It just turned into your traditional Skytear game.
Yeah, that was boring, I was expecting to see that in action, and then okay, it's just a control match, and I suck at control matches. So that's it. It was a very nice game.
So I'm assuming those exhaustions that you had were for the Suicide Squad Sat Revenge triggers.
Yes, I had like lots of shoves and slides and exhaustions and charms, but
I like it.
It was like, no, this is not going. It's probably going to win my fresh made deck, but I'm going to bother him at least a little bit
to go down swinging.
Yeah, that's it. But that's just a control, and I really like to kill heroes. controlling is
Yeah.
definitely not
I
my
think
thing.
Of course,
these victory
control is
conditions
boring.
make that. These victory conditions definitely make going for the kills hard because on the one hand, double kill is one of the kind of a little bit harder in terms of kill conditions, and then on top of that you have 2 control conditions, and you have to at least not lose to those, even if you're going for the kill. And it becomes that balancing act of trying to like, how little can you invest in not losing so that you have enough resources to then actually go win with double kill, and that can be really tough when we get conditions like these.
Also, Frail, Brovar, or Shrita are not the easiest heroes to kill when they're put together. With the disarms from Shrita, the heals from Frail, and the armor from Brovar.
Yep.
And
They are
think
hard to
think
kill.
this, like, this is one of those games where it's like, I think Charm and Exhaustion are often very good against blue, but I think they're really kind of at their peak when you're playing against a more aggressive blue list. Obviously, denying the trigger from a Strida is great, but outside of that, like this game, like our heroes, our blue heroes spent a lot of time not shapeshifted.
Yeah,
and not really being that relevant.
We did also notice you did the Brivalar casted charm on Estrada, and you actually just discarded that shapeshift away,
Yeah.
which I think was
So
we talked about it. Go ahead, let's hear the reasoning. I think we thought the same thing.
Yeah. So my thinking. So when I activated Brilvar, my first thought was I just wanted to do as much as possible in terms of making sure I was probably not going to lose to left breach in case something wild happened. So I wanted to kill the minion, which didn't leave me with enough actions to both shapeshift Brilvar and to get in position after I had decided I was going for that. And also lead because I wanted to attack the minion and so I wasn't able to move next to Strida and shapeshift, which would force her to attack him instead of doing anything else. And so I figured that's why I just kind of used a skirmish that didn't really do anything there because I didn't really have anything else I wanted to do. And then like you say, not taking the charm, not taking the shapeshift with Brilvar made the most sense because if I take it, there's a chance of a counter charm.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about on the stream was like,
and
there's potential, and are you even going to go to the 4th round to be able to use that charm?
Yeah, it's like this game I was pretty certain that as long as I didn't lose, as long as like somehow like, if my minions didn't all die and, even if I didn't win there, as long as I didn't lose the right lane, I was going to be able to put one hero in the dome and probably win, at the very least win my left lane and the dome. I was pretty sure the game was ending. So it was like and at that point there weren't any other heroes that we adjacent to Brilvar, so it doesn't make sense to have him shapeshifted. It doesn't do anything. Great
play. Well, I want to say great job, Rafa, on making the top 16 in the August Clash. Congratulations to Joe. Moving on to the quarterfinals, I think you're going to be facing off against Tim Bunn as your next opponent. Hopefully we'll be able to get a stream of that going so all the players out there in the Skytear community can see that. I'm Clinton Bollinger.
And I'm Ryan here, and I'll be playing the winner of that game between Tim and Joe.